Ladies and gentlemen, from the DeBona Dojo in Boston, Massachusetts, it's time for Unsportsmanlike Conduct. This is the final matchup of the regular season in a brawl to secure a spot in the championship. Only the top 4 competitors from around the league will qualify for the final. Here are the rules of the dojo. The best debater in each question will earn the maximum of 4 points. The runner-up will earn 2. Third place will nab 1. And the last, nada, zip, 0. The points will be doubled in the wide world of sports question during the final round. Let's meet today's competitors. Fighting out of Cambridge, Massachusetts, Lucas Ragas. Fighting out of Farmington, Connecticut, Katie Mighty Mouse Reed. Fighting out of Fighting out of Dallas, Texas, Jonas Penny Spencer. And fighting out of New York, New York, our preseason champion, Olin Hollywood Hayes. Competitors, this is your final opportunity to earn points toward the championship. Leave nothing in the take because you will regret watching the final from your couch. Show no mercy and leave no doubt, since the only thing separating you from continuing your quest for glory is your fellow debaters. Let's get this party started. Round 1, which team has what it takes to win the national championship in this year's college football playoff? Katie, you won the coin toss backstage, and you'll be kicking off.
Perfect. So, I've got Duke. Just kidding. Roll Tide roll, guys!
Whoa.
Roll Tide. And yeah, no, so they've got really good players. They've got a really good coach, Nick Saban. And they have their freshman quarterback, Jalen Hurts, and Bo Scarborough and Reuben Foster, and I think they're going to do well. I think they're going to do really well.
Lucas?
I'm gonna have to go with Clemson, an undefeated team led by Deshaun Watson on their offense and Wayne Gallman in the backfield. And they have one of the top defenses in the league right now. And they're 10th in opponents' yards per game, 2nd in total sacks, and 1st in total tackles for loss. So I'm just gonna have to go with Clemson.
Jonas, what do you have?
Well, offense wins games, so defense wins championships. So I'm going to have to go with the University of Michigan. We're talking about one of the top defenses in the league here. 1st and 3rd down conversion defense, 12th in penalties per game, so not really giving up any penalties. 2nd in 1st down defense, 1st in passing yards defense, 1st in red zone defense, 1st in total defense. Don't forget the offense scores 47 points per game. And fun fact, 4 of 7 Heisman winners went on to win the national championship. You have Jabril Peppers getting rushing touchdowns, sacks, punt return touchdowns as well. He's doing it all. You have the Harbaugh twins or one of the Harbaugh brothers out there just basically doing it all. Why not just go with it?
Olin Hayes.
Going with the most underrated and most underdog of the undefeated teams, the Washington Huskies. They're ranked 5th in the country right now, but they're undefeated. If they win out, they're going to make the playoffs based on everyone else's schedule. Jake Browning is the best quarterback in the country, might be the best player in the country. 28 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. We've got a solid running game, solid receiving game overall. 10 different receivers have touchdowns, so he's not relying on any one target too much. If they shut one target down, he can just find another one. Also, 5 different players with rushing touchdowns for Washington. Solid all-around team on offense and defense. They beat Oregon by 49 points. I know Oregon's having a down year, but not that down against everyone else. 70-21 win over Oregon. Dominant performances throughout the Pac-12 season in a great conference. This team has what it takes to win it all.
Everybody jump in. It's a free-for-all.
Okay, so I've got Jalen Hurts, and he has pretty much the greatest season. He has, in his first start, he threw 23 for 36, 287 yards for a pair of touchdowns. And then his game against Arkansas, which they won, he threw a total of 273 offensive yards, and he had a... Hold on, sorry.
Jake Browning has had more than that in every single game this year.
Yeah, he had
Browning has had 6 touchdown passes against Oregon. The Huskies have only had 1 close game the entire season.
Let's not to mention as well, all 3 quarterbacks from University of Michigan have an average QB rating of 149, so let's not even forget that. So anyway, any quarterback goes down, we don't have to worry whatsoever. Michigan's got it handled.
Okay, so...
Deshaun Watson, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. You can't even...
He's one of the best. Statistically, he's well behind Browning right now, as well as the conglomerate that has been the Michigan quarterback.
But he's also leading a very strong receiving core in Mike Williams, Travis Scott, and Hunter Renfrow. That's a very strong receiving core, one of the strongest in the country. And they also have a very strong O-line with Mitch Hyde and Jay Guillermo right now.
Okay, so
it's one of the strongest offenses in the country.
So, but besides the fact they have a really good freshman quarterback, which is a
Which
pretty.
is not good for playoff situations.
That doesn't
But
help
it's still
in
really
any way.
impressive. Okay, well,
it's
they have-
impressive, but it doesn't help your team.
They have Reuben Foster, and he against Western Kentucky registered 6 tackles, and 5 of which were
Are
unassisted.
you bringing up stats against Western Kentucky?
I'm sorry, I'm
Yes,
getting
he is.
stats.
It's Western Kentucky.
And then
It's not
against
a Big
Ole
Ten
Miss, he
team.
had 12 tackles against Ole Miss, and first.
Oh, a real team.
Yeah, I know, right? First half of that
Surprising.
those 7 of those came in the first half because he only collected 5 in the second because he had a cramp. But that's really impressive still, the fact that he got 7 on the first.
That is halftime for this session on the gridiron, and at the interval, Olin Hayes takes out 4 points, Jonas with 2, Katie with 1, and Lucas with nada.
Roll Tide, guys.
Although Cleveland has seen recent success in the Cavaliers and were on the precipice of ultimate victory with the Indians, the Browns and their fans have been winless this season. Will the Browns win 1 game this season, or will they finish a historic 0-16? Lucas, you have the first move.
The Browns will go down as the worst team in NFL history. The 2016-2017 Cleveland Browns are going to be the worst team in NFL history. They're 25th in points per game, 3rd in opponents' points per game, 1st in total points allowed, 2nd in yards given per play, second highest rating of opponents' third down conversion, and to add insult to injury, they're 27th in field goal percentage and 23rd in extra point percentage. They can't play defense, they can't play offense, and they can't even kick.
By first in points allowed, I think you mean last.
Yeah, I'm
Jonas.
just going on what Lucas said. I mean, they're horrible this season. This is probably the worst thing they've had. 7 out of 10 previous seasons for them, they've had 10-plus losses. They're 31st in pass yards per game allowed. They're 15th in total yards per game, 28th in first downs per game, 21st in sacks. And let's look at their remaining schedule. They're playing the Cowboys, which is 6-1, coming off hot with Dak Prescott. They're playing the Ravens, Pittsburgh twice, Giants, the Bengals, the Bills, the Chargers. These teams are all fighting for playoff spots. They're not going to give up a loss whatsoever to this Cleveland Browns team who thought RG3 was going to be their savior? Are you kidding
They're
me?
not a team, they're a
Can they get a
joke.
win?
RG3 got hurt after 3 plays. The Cleveland Browns have no shot at getting a win. Their only chances against the Jets, they blew a 13-point lead to the 2nd worst team in football. The New York Jets were down 13 and still managed to beat Cleveland. This is going to go down as the worst team in NFL history. Absolutely. They're worse than the 0-16 Lions from a few years ago. Wow. And the Lions got Matthew Stafford that year in the draft, and we know the Browns aren't going to be that smart in the draft. So now you look at their remaining schedule, their only game that they could win is the Chargers. The rest of those teams are legitimate, good NFL teams. The Chargers are shaky, but even then, unless Phillip Rivers gets hurt, the Browns still have no chance to win.
Katie, do you agree?
Yes, I actually think their best week could be week 13 because they're on a bye.
Oh, Jesus.
She's not wrong.
I'm not wrong, but
I've
they're
been-
going to do
That
well
is an
because
accurate-
they're going to have some time to
accurate
think
statement
about
right
what's
there.
actually happening and actually maybe get their stuff together. So,
Yeah, maybe they'll kick a field goal the next week.
yeah.
Can they get a win after the bye? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that they're going to get a really good week in the bye.
The best week is when they don't lose.
Yeah.
When they don't
Yeah,
play.
technically they're undefeated that week.
Yeah.
So,
So we're all saying they're going 0-16?
Yes.
absolutely.
Is this the worst
Without a
team in
doubt.
NFL history?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Why?
They've had 6 quarterbacks this year, and none of them have done anything
None of
right.
them are any good. They don't have any good players on the team.
Their best player was a quarterback in college, but he's playing wide receiver.
They
Terrell
decided that they were
Pryor's
going to
your best
draft
player.
Johnny Manziel, and he's
And
a joke.
the
and
most valuable piece
impossible
you can give
to
up is an offensive tackle, and that's the only good thing you
Yeah,
basically have
Joe
on
Thomas is
offense.
the best player on this team right now. He's the left tackle. He might be the best left tackle in the entire league. Left tackle is an important part of any good team, but it does not make a team good.
You cannot lead
You've
a
got
team
Joe
with a left
Thomas and
tackle.
you've got Joe Hayden at
And you-
corner.
yeah, and
and
you
those
just
are the
look
only
down
stars on this team, and they play positions that are not important enough to win games by themselves. They need a quarterback or a running back or a receiver. Any of those.
And they just lucked out and got Jamie Collins from the New England Patriots, who just happened to not want to pay him. So
Early Christmas gift.
Yeah,
early
yeah,
Christmas
no.
gift, even though it's not really going to
But
help
that-
anything.
Bel-
Belichick
that's not
sent him
gonna
to the
get you a
timeout
win.
chair,
You
which
get-
is known as Cleveland.
Maybe you get 1 or
So,
2 more sacks a game, but that's not going to get you a win.
Yeah, this team is hopeless.
Yeah. I mean,
At least the Lions won some preseason
If you,
games.
if you can't score a point, you can't win a game.
They've
So
had
that's-
6
that's true.
they've had
Yeah,
6
that is true.
quarterbacks this year.
And they've all sucked.
Yeah.
Could tie with no
They
points.
decided they
You
were going to
could
draft
tie.
Johnny
You
Manziel,
could.
thinking
But
that this kid didn't peak in college.
Will they tie a game?
No.
No.
To tie a game, you have to not let them score.
You also
They
scored
have-
the
Their
points
defense is
yourself.
horrible.
They
They
literally,
blew the lead to the Jets.
Blasphemous.
literally, I think almost every game they've had under 20 points.
This team is comedically awful, and that is it for the second round. If you can muster anything out of this situation, it's that Jonas Spencer is desperate for points. He picks up 4, Olin with 2, Lucas with 1, and Katie with none. On the other side of the break, we'll find out if Jonas can continue this desperate hunt for the playoffs since he was disqualified from the first show. Don't go anywhere and see what happens.
Okay, this is not working out.
This hasn't been working out for us. Can we please go back to the shows that were meant to host? Thank you.
Welcome back to Unsportsmanlike Conduct. It's time for the Beantown rounds of this competition. We're going to get straight into it. Round 3. Boston College earned their first ACC victory in 2 seasons last Saturday. Can they manage another one this year? Jonas, start us off.
Well, I'm going to go matchup by matchup here. So their first ACC game remaining on the schedule is against Louisville. They have a 3-5 record overall against Louisville, 1-3 record away. Last game was a 17-14 win. So with 17-14, Louisville win. The total yard average, Louisville has the advantage this season. Total tackles, Louisville has the advantage. And Lamar Jackson, you're just not going to stop him, so let's know there. We're going to go with Florida State as well, 4-10 record overall, 2-6 at home. That's definitely a no because the total yards per game average is definitely in Florida State's advantage. Now, Wake Forest, I think they could win that game, so I'm going to say yes to them winning another
Out of
ACC
time,
game.
over Olin.
They're not going to win another game. This team, I mean, you can completely write off Louisville. Louisville is obviously an elite team. Florida State fallen off a little from their elite status, but obviously significantly better than BC. BC's only win in conference is NC State. Their only legit win all year. And NC State's the second worst team in the division, so that really doesn't mean anything either. You look at the Wake Forest game. Wake Forest is a heavy rushing-based team. They play a lot like the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, which is a team BC already faced and lost to. So they already lost to a team that's very similar to Wake Forest, and Wake Forest is better than Georgia Tech in every way right now.
Katie.
No, they're just bad. They've lost to their past ACC rivals, but I mean they could carry momentum from their NC State game, but it's really unlikely.
I'm going to have to agree with everybody else here, but they're not going to beat Wake Forest. They have a mediocre secondary, but they have an even worse pass rush, and Wake Forest is a heavy rushing team. There's no way they're going to beat a heavy rushing team. Louisville, out of the question. A mediocre defense is not stopping a possible Heisman Trophy winner, Lamar Jackson. And Florida State, also just totally out of their realm. All of them are just worlds above BC right now.
So we're all saying no, yes?
Yes.
I'm saying
Yeah,
yes.
we're all
We're all
saying
saying
no.
yes.
You are
We're
not
saying
saying
no.
yes.
He's saying
You're
wrong.
not
Yes.
saying yes.
But he is incorrect.
Hear me
Yeah,
out.
you're wrong.
Okay, no. Hear me out here, okay? Okay, the 12-9-2 overall record against Wake Forest, okay?
The past years don't count.
3-3
BC in
away.
the past
The
had
last-
Matt Ryan and Luke Kuechly. They
The
don't
last
have
game,
them
the last
anymore.
game they played against Wake Forest last season was an 0-3 loss, okay? So hear me out.
Yeah,
They're better in points
was
per
a
game.
terrible
They're better in
game.
rush per game. They're close in pass yards and total yards per game. I think they
But
can
Wake
really do
Forest
this.
is actually
This
a good
actually
defensive team.
And Wake Forest actually has a much tougher schedule than BC does.
And they still have a
Anything's
better
possible.
record. I'm going to take this a step
Anything
farther.
can
BC is
happen.
not going to win a game. They're not going to beat UConn.
They've literally they've literally had about half the rushing yards against every team except for Syracuse, but Syracuse is Syracuse. So they had the only thing they had over
I believe that's
the only thing they had Syracuse was over Syracuse was passing for the first time ever because they don't pass, they just run, and their running game is really bad too.
I mean,
I still
you
think
look
it's
at this team, like they're 4-4 overall this year, but 3 of their wins are UMass and Buffalo, who are 2 of the worst teams in the FBS.
Yep.
Their other win is Wagner, which is an FCS team, and it's not even a good FCS team. It's an FCS team that lost to Columbia, who's historically awful within the Ivy
I
League.
think it's a fair comparison to call Boston College the Cleveland Browns of
Yep.
college football.
That's UMass, but
They
they're close.
have a win. They have a win, though.
They're not the worst team in college football history.
Certainly not.
But
They have
for
a singular
what they
win.
used to be, how far they've fallen, I think it's a fair
They've fallen pretty
comparison.
far from Matt Ryan and Luke Kuechly.
Yeah.
that's
Bigger
for sure.
sample size than the 32 in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
That
But
and
they
they're
still
still
suck.
pretty close to the bottom.
Real quick, what's their most likely win this season?
UConn?
UConn.
UConn.
Even though it's really sad, UConn.
UConn's the worst of their remaining schedule, but they're still
But
better.
UConn's still.
You can't-
they're not-
UConn is
you can't-
still
you
a
can't-
legitimate
they're still a
team.
good
Still what?
They're still a good team.
They're still a legitimate team. Go UConn. Go Huskies.
They're- yeah, they're-
yeah,
But
no,
UConn,
the
they're-
American
UConn is
they're
the
an
worst
actual
of
team.
the
But
schedule.
compared to every other team on TV, yeah, it's UConn.
No,
That's
UConn's
that's
an
the team you
actual
circle
team.
on the calendar.
Yep.
saying
Yeah.
this is a
And that's not
possible
even in their
win.
conference.
Yeah, which is depressing.
It's pretty sad.
That is the
Poor
end of
BC.
round 3. Olin with 4 points, Lucas with 2, Katie with 1, and Jonas with nothing. Over
Casper.
to round 4. To the hardwood. Is Ray Allen the greatest 3-point shooter of all time? Olin, fire away.
Well, you can make a case for a lot of things about Ray Allen. His legacy is obviously spectacular. He might be the best clutch three-point shooter, maybe the best playoff three-point shooter, but overall, he's 38th all-time in three-point percentage. That's too far down the list to really make a case. He does have the most field goals made, three-point field goals made, but he also has attempted the most three-pointers by far, by a significantly higher margin. So I don't give him the title of best of all time. Great player, future Hall of Famer, no question. And again, that three-pointer for the Heat to win that game, just
I do not think Ray Allen's the best three-point shooter of all time. I'm making the argument that Stephen Curry is the greatest three-point shooter of all time.
Already?
Granted, he has only played 7 seasons.
He already is, or he will be?
He already is, and by the end of his career, there's no chance that anyone else is going to hold any three-point records. No chance. He made 402 three-pointers last season. He shattered the record of 286, which was set by him the previous season. That is absurd to me. You can't even make an argument for that.
Penny, what you
Yep,
got?
I'm going to have to go with Wardell Stephen Curry Jr.
Wardell.
So we're just going to have to go with it here. He's broken Ray Allen's record for most threes in a season 3 times in his career already.
He's
made
only played 7
1,610 three-pointers off of 3,628 attempts compared to 2,973 made off of 7,429 three-pointer attempts.
That's a lot of
There's
threes.
there's a 44.4 field goal percentage compared to 40.4 Ray Allen's three-point percentage. Makes him second all-time when it comes to Ray Allen's 38. This
Behind
kid
his
is a
coach.
walking figure. Who else has shook up the game in the whole NBA when it comes to threes? Who's shooting at that far of a distance and knocking it down like it's nothing and running back? Already mid-form. As soon as he gets ready for a release, he already knows it's
So we've got Steph Curry on this side. Who do we have on this side?
oh boy. I mean, it's hard to argue against Steph Curry, but
Yeah.
he just hasn't played enough yet. I think you look at Steve Kerr's the all-time leader in three-point percentage.
Is he
I
the
think that
greatest
has to be.
all time?
I'm not going to say that necessarily because when I consider the best, I'm considering someone who's influenced the game the most. And when you look at Steph Curry,
if you're
he's
looking at
basically
that, it might be
he's
Ray
basically-
Allen.
Yeah, but no
No
necessarily looking at
No
this way. Everybody says, "Oh, I want to shoot like Steph Curry." Everybody wants to shoot that shot and run back down the court like Steph Curry. Like everybody wants to jump from the free throw
Because
line like
kids
Michael
like what
Jordan.
they see, or is because he's that good?
Because he's that good.
Why?
There's a difference, though.
Have you not seen him?
No,
He goes off.
Tell me.
The first
I've seen
big
it.
game. The first
The
big
fact
game
that he
had
turns
was
around
last-
after making
no,
a three
no,
doesn't make
no.
it better.
The first
Yeah.
big game he had was
No,
Madison
it-
Square Garden, like a year before he finally came out as the big
That was
deal.
amazing.
He was just
That was
going
amazing.
off pretty
At
much
one point,
every
I feel
single
like
time.
there's like an air of confidence that Steph Curry has to him, which I think a lot of kids enjoy, and they kind of gravitate towards because he'll shoot and he'll walk away, or he'll shoot and then he'll just kind of walk it off.
He's got the flair,
Yeah.
but give me the numbers, folks.
He's second all-time in field goal percentage, but I think by the end of the career, I agree with Lucas, by the end of his career, there's no question he'll be the greatest. I just don't think you can necessarily make the case already now that he's like maybe halfway
He
through.
also takes more threes per game. He shoots a significantly higher percentage than Ray Allen, and most. He's second. He's second all time in three-point percentage. He takes more. He averages 7.3 three-point attempts a game, and that's absurd. And Ray Allen only averaged 5.7.
Plus
He takes more threes, makes more threes, and at a higher percentage.
Plus Ray Allen's only a three-time three-point field goal leader. Steph Curry's a 4-time three-point field goal leader.
Out
Let's
of
go ahead and
7
look at that now.
seasons.
Yeah, out of 7 seasons.
Ray
This
Allen
man
had
is
an
the real deal.
18-year career.
Even Steve Kerr admitted like this kid is better than him. They have shootouts in practice all the
This
time.
is a
Steph
debate
Curry
that could
beats
rage
him.
on all day, but with that, round 4 is all wrapped up. Jonas steals 4 more points, Lucas with 2, Olin with 1, and Katie with nothing. That's 4 rounds for the books. But next, we travel to the wide world of sports,
basketball.
where the points are doubled, and the regular season will reach its conclusion in explosive fashion. You are not going to want to miss this. Playoff berths are on the line. This is the wide world of sports, where our competitors have their last opportunity to rack up points toward the championship. The stakes are at their highest, the points have been doubled, and the intensity has been cranked near its maximum. Give it everything you've got, folks. Who is going to win the MLS Cup? It's your move, Lucas.
I'm going to have to go with the New York Red Bulls. They are composed of experience and youth, a great balance. They have a playmaking midfield in Sasha Kljestan, a clinical goal scorer in Bradley Wright Phillips, and one of the most consistent goalkeepers in MLS history in Luis Robles. They've had a bunch of good years in the past, and this year I believe that they're going to win it all.
Jonas.
Once I get to go with my hometown team, so I'm going to say FC Dallas. They're the top team in the MLS right now at 60 points. They have the most shots. Not saying most shots on goal, but they're sixth and least amount of goals conceded. They're sixth and least amount of saves. So not a lot of players are getting to the goal to take shots in general. They have 12 shutouts the whole season, so you know the keeper is doing good. They have good keeping, good defense. So that means that's very good for them. Defense wins championships. That's a very important factor. They have Mario Diaz, who's third in assists. You always need a good playmaker when it comes to scoring. So that's very important when it comes down to when you need a good goal or need a clutch moment.
Olin.
Mauro Diaz is out for the season. FC Dallas lost 3-0 in the first leg to the Seattle Sounders. The Seattle Sounders are going to win the MLS Cup. They look fantastic right now. 3-0 win in leg 1 against FC Dallas, who was coming in the top team. Now going into leg 2, if they score 1 goal, FC Dallas has to score 5 to stay alive because of the tiebreaker. So Seattle Sounders, with the Galaxy and Rapids both looking shaky, they've got a clear road to the finals right now. And in the finals, anyone in the East has had some issues right now. The Sounders look great. Fry has been a consistent goalie. Eric Freeberg, former star in Sweden, and now a star here. Great anchor in the midfield and an all-star offense even without Dempsey.
Okay, so I am going to go with Toronto, the 6th. They have switched up their tactics. No, the 6th, maybe the 6th. They have a pretty legit MVP, who's very probable for this cup, which is Steven Giovinco and or Sebastian Giovinco. God, I'm so sorry. God, wow. And they've switched up their tactics, which I think has been really good defensively for them. And go Toronto. Let's go.
Everybody jump in. It's free for all. Give it everything.
Okay, so Toronto, like I said, switched up their defensive tactic from the 4-4-2 diamond, which is 4 defenders. Yeah, 4 defenders, and then the 4 forwards in the little square. But that also leaves the 2 wing.
In a diamond.
Sorry, keep going,
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of it as a square. It's. You be quiet.
No, but I mean,
which leaves the wings open, so they switched up their tactic to a 3-5-2, which has 3 center backs and 2 wings, which leaves
That formation is too reliant on the wing backs. So your wing backs have to be all-star caliber, and Tsubasa Endo is just a substitute basically. They brought in substitutes to play wing back.
Yeah, but
players who are not in your starting lineup are not good enough to stop the Seattle Sounders offense. Jordan Morris is the future of the U.S. national team. Nicolas Lodeiro looks fantastic. Herculez Gomez is not even starting on this team, but he's the best bench player in the league right now. And the Seattle Sounders have a good enough defense and the best offense of any team remaining.
Okay, even though it's a good enough defense, I mean, you have to look at FC Dallas' 12 shots. If you're not getting a lot of
FC Dallas needs to score 4 goals next game to stay alive.
Here's the thing.
They're a defensive
here's
team.
the thing, though.
They have no way to do that.
They're a good defensive team. If you're not going to score on them, they're putting up the most shots out of every single team. So if they're putting up a lot of shots and not getting a lot of
they
shots
can
on
shut
them
out
to
the
get past
Sounders
them,
and still lose.
Okay. Here's the thing. You have to try to score on them. I feel like they can get goals. The only thing is,
Mauro
how you
Diaz
gonna
is
score
hurt.
on
He
them?
was the way to get goals.
No, there's still other talent. You never know what's going to
The best
happen.
players on this team are all on defense for Dallas. They have no way to score 4 or 5 goals in a single game.
Anything can happen.
But I'm just going to have to say the New York Red Bulls, man, they have a perfect balance. They have a very full balanced team of experience and youth.
They look good.
Value you can't.
Yeah, Bradley
undermine the
Whitefield's is
value
great.
of a
Kleshin is the best
balanced
playmaker
team.
in the league right now, but they only have 2 offensive all-stars right now. They have an offense that's entirely reliant on 2 players. And if you run into a defensive team in the next round, Toronto and New York both have decent defenses. Either way, it's very tough for them to get through to the finals even.
With that, it is all over. The regular season has come to an end, and let's see who will be competing for a title. Olin Hayes not only won the round, he swept everything. He's the #1 seed headed into the final. Katie Reed picked up some points in that last one, and we'll see if that's going to sneak her in. But we know that that are not here, Will Connell and Brian Denuff, they are in. Who among these 3 gets the last spot? It came down to the last question, and it was a nail-biter. Katie Reed gets the 4th seed in the championship round. For you two, the road has come to an end, but we will see Olin, Will, Brian, and Katie in the championship round. This has been Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Next time you see us, it will be for all the marbles.